Hey there everyone, Chris Mack here, and today's video is going to be about fire making, but doing it practically. Don't forget to stick around to the end of the video because there is going to be a giveaway, and let's get started. First and foremost, I want to talk about the trap of EDC and prepping and stuff like that, of everyone's trying to make things really cool or all about like, oh, you're not a man's man if you can't start a fire with sticks, or you have to use a ferro rod, and we need to get away from that. We need to be practical. Where do I get off being able to talk about this? I've been in healthcare for over 20 years, and 10 of those years I spent in EMS and in search and rescue. And in that time, in my search and rescue days, never have I carried a ferro rod into the field because it's not practical. So let's talk about practicality and stuff. Down below in the description, I'm gonna have links to all kinds of videos of guys who are in the know, some DIY stuff. I'm gonna have links to some gear, but I'm also going to talk about stuff that's practical, DIY, and extremely budget as well. So there's a little bit of everything for everyone here. Stay tuned. All right, let's get into it. First and foremost, let's go ahead and talk about the ferro rods. There's nothing wrong with ferro rods. Like I said, they're just not practical. They don't make this one anymore, but it's a cool one. It goes on your keychain. It's got a little cylinder in here for some tinder. It has a glass breaker on the end of it. It's got a striker built in. Exotac makes these, and they're a really good product. It's just for the everyday, it's not practical. I think using a ferro rod is a good skill to have, and I think it's a good backup to have in your bag because they weigh nothing if you get one of the smaller ones, but they're just not practical for your primary fire starting source. And someone who says that, and one of the links down below in the description, is going to be a Dave Cantberry does an instructional video. He does like a class he's teaching, and someone recorded it. And he specifically talks about, why do you want to learn how to start a fire with bow drill? Why do you want to learn to use how to use a ferro rod? He says in that video, he says, I have drawers at home full of Bic lighters. I have, every one of my packs has a Bic lighter or 3 in it. So it's a good skill to have, but it shouldn't be your primary source. Why would you be without a lighter if you're going to be prepared enough to have a ferro rod in the first place? Whenever it comes to a cool little tricks about ferro rods though, standard, I buy these in like the 3-pack, standard ferro rod. I actually did paracord wrap mine, and I'll have a link down below in the description for this specific knot. It doesn't say how to put the ferro rod in it, but if you get it started and then wrap it around the ferro rod, there you go. And then you've got some paracord tinder. Next, let's talk about budget and dang near free. Most gas stations, if you buy cigarettes and you ask them for a book of matches, they'll give you a book of matches. I don't condone the smoking part. I used to do that years ago, and I have since quit. Yeah, misspent youth. Anyhow, but yeah, you can usually get a book of matches from the gas station, and they'll give you a pack 9 times out of 10. And if you take the first layer out of these will flat pack in your wallet, and you don't even know they're there. I had, in my search and rescue days, I would carry 2 wallets, my normal everyday. And then the second one that I would actually carry was a credentials wallet that I had on a dog tag chain around my neck. And in there, along with all my search and rescue credentials and my radio credentials and stuff like that, I had a Swiss card, which is a Swiss Army knife flattened down into a wallet card, and a book of matches, just so that way I had a bit of kit on me at all times. So cheap, easy, budget, and especially if you were to put these in a little vacuum seal as well, you don't get much smaller and lighter than this. Next is a good old-fashioned normal Bic lighter. So one complaint people have whenever they say that, oh no, you need a ferro rod because what happens if this gets cold and wet? Why did it get cold and wet? This is just some paracord with double fisherman's knot. You can look that up. Throw that around your neck, tuck this into your shirt and everything else. Now the lighter stays body temperature and you've got no issues. You have the paracord if you need to for whatever other task you need paracord for. Along with, you can use this for tinder. I have this secured on here with 2 Ranger bands, and if you want to be a little bit more secure as well, you can run some electrical tape in between the 2 Ranger bands. Now, if you want to get budget and cheap here, Ranger bands, yes, you can buy them in a bulk pack, and that's what I do now too. The original Ranger bands, though, were not rubber bands. The original Ranger bands are bicycle tires, the inner tube. So if you have a bicycle repair shop close by to you, go to them and ask if they're willing to give you their old inner tubes and cut those down. Those are Ranger bands, the original version. Next, I want to talk about solid fuel. Now, I'm going to show my age here. So trioxane is the military's version of ISBIT and Coghlan's, the fuel tabs there. And I recently did a video comparing those two. I'll link that down below in the description. But trioxane is the military's version of those fuel tabs. And this is a 3-pack of them. You can't find them for this price anymore. That's $1 for a 3-pack of trioxane bars. I'm getting old. So yeah, if you have a fuel of some sort, this I actually pulled out of my SAR pack, and this is an ESBIT tab, and I have it wrapped up in aluminum foil, and this is in my fire kit, not my cook kit, my fire kit, because this is specifically for starting a fire for me. And again, from my search and rescue perspective, whenever we were training, they would say, okay, you have 2 minutes, get a fire started, we're gonna come by and stomp on it, and if it goes out, you fail. The goal is to get a fire started. Now, we couldn't just go siphon gas out of the truck or anything like that, but they're like, all right, where's your fire kit? There's your fire kit, cool, you have 2 minutes, go. This is a surefire way of getting a fire going as quick as possible. You don't have to start with tinder, you don't have to start with kindling. You can actually start with some decent sized pieces of wood whenever you're using a solid fuel. When it comes to the solid fuel, someone else who has really good mindset on this is Dwayne. He has a YouTube channel. I'm going to link the video down below, and he talks about what he keeps with ranching. He talks about what he keeps in his saddlebags, and what he keeps for starting a fire is a can of Sterno, because again, when you're cold, when you're wet, when you're tired, and when your life depends on it, you don't want to spend time figuring out how to get a fire started. Can of Sterno, done. Another idea that I probably didn't come up with this, but having the leftover tabs from the Coghlan's thing that I did here, I put 3 of those tabs in with a mini Bic lighter. I mean, this is extremely small and compact, and because each of these tabs will burn for a minimum of like 10 minutes, if you do them individually, this is 30 minutes worth of fire that you can work on building your stuff around, that you don't have to worry about like, oh, is my kindling and my tinder just right? I mean, you've got 30 minutes. If you can't get some wood lit with 30 minutes of fuel, you've got some bigger problems here. Last but not least, my favorite, my personal EDC fire source is a Zippo. Zippo is a catch-22 thing. You have to love it, you really do, because there's a lot of upkeep. The fluid does evaporate, unfortunately, over time. So you need to pick like 1 day a week, like every Monday I'm going to fill this thing. Or Saturday morning, I get up, I'm chilling out for the day, and I'm going to fill this. You need to pick a day, make sure you have it topped off. Or you can do what I do is if I just light it every day, and before I put it in my pocket, if it doesn't light, I top it off. Otherwise, if I know I'm going on a hike, I top it off then. If I know I'm going on a trek with the truck and do some off-roading, I make sure to top it off before I go. But then just to make sure, I also keep one of these in the truck, and this is one of the Zippo canisters. There's enough to fill this, an entire fill. Along with it comes with an extra flint and a little tool to get in there to get the flint out to exchange that should you need to do that as well. Now, on to the giveaway. First things first when it comes to the giveaway. Because there's a lot of scammers out there, Chris from City Prepping is doing his giveaways this way. I'm going to follow suit because I feel like it's the best way to protect you guys. If you win, the way I will contact you is I will email you. For me to be able to email you, what you have to do is have your email address linked on your home page of your YouTube. How do you do that? I will have a link down below in the description to a tutorial video if you don't know how to do that, or if you don't have that done already, so that way you know how to have that done. Mine is already on my channel. So if you get an email saying, hey, you won, please, please, please make sure you go to my YouTube channel, make sure you go to my homepage, and make sure that you see my email address and compare that to the email that you got saying, hi, you won, okay? I am not gonna ask for your credit card information. I am not gonna ask for any of that kind of crap. I will ask for your mailing address because I need to mail you the winnings, but I'm not gonna ask for anything out of the ordinary, okay? Just so that way you know. So to win, you must have your email linked to your YouTube account, and I'll have a video in the description on how to do that. Again, this is how Chris from City Prepping does his to prevent scamming. That's why I'm gonna do mine that way as well. I will not comment on yours saying, hi, congratulations, you won. It will not be a comment. It will be an email. Please verify that email with my email address on my homepage for the channel. I do not want you to get scammed, guys. All right. So the giveaway is for a Zippo starter pack. It will come with a Zippo lighter, it will come with a bottle of fluid, and it comes with a pack of additional flints. So how do you enter? All you have to do is comment down below with what was an EDC mistake that you did for a while and that you don't do anymore. Like I said, mine was I spent like a year carrying a Ferro Rod before I went, yeah, it's not really practical, and I don't do that anymore. What was one of yours? All right, so if you've watched this far to the end, thank you so very much for watching. I hope you got some really cool tips and tricks, and like I said, there's some good videos I'm gonna link down below in the description as well. Thank you so very much for watching, and as always, it's Chris Mack.